Hey y'all, it's another Getting Real with Ashleydawn, and I have been asking my friends on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and every social media platform that I'm on. I've been asking, what are topics that you want me to talk about? What are topics that you'd like encouragement in, you'd like inspiration in, you'd like to know that you're not the only one dealing with insert thing here? And so I got some really good ideas. One of those ideas I wanted to talk about this morning, and that is how to forgive yourself. When you do something outside of your character that is not like you, how can you forgive yourself? Well, like always, my life is a wealth of bad choices and things that I wish I wouldn't do and things that I wish other people haven't done to me. And life, I've got 34 years of life under my belt, and you may have 60 some years of life under yours, and you might have more wisdom than I do, but I'm just going to share the wisdom that I have. And I hope, like a watermelon, take what is sweet and spit out the seeds if it ain't. And of course, anything that I say, check with the Word of God. Don't just take my opinion as facts, because it's not. I can be wrong. I can make mistakes. I'm a flawed human, and I don't get everything right. But anyway, I just want to share, I've done a lot of things that I've regretted. I've beat myself up and overanalyzed and just went back and forth over things that I have done, and just like a broken record over and over and over and over again. Why'd you do that? Oh, I can't believe you did that. That's not you. That's not your character, right? Maybe I used to have a little smart mouth, and I'd say things that I couldn't take back, and then I'd kick myself for saying things that I knew that I didn't mean. And I said them in a moment that was a little heated, and I would regret them, especially in high school. Listen, I've come a long way since high school. I love Jesus, but I am not perfect. And so, people would say something snarky to me, and I'd shoot them back with a quick little snarky remark. And I hurt a lot of friends in the process. I hurt some ex-boyfriends in the process. And I would beat myself up about it, and I would overanalyze every single little word that I said and go back and forth over it, until finally I got to the point where I had to ask for forgiveness and apologize. Not only to them and to God, because, essentially I let God down too, but also to myself. For me, I don't know about your story, but for me, I hold myself to this standard that sometimes I cannot achieve. I know I'm not perfect, but sometimes I forget that I don't have to be. And sometimes I try and I try and I try, and then I don't realize, hey, Ashleydawn, guess what? You're putting too much pressure on yourself. God doesn't put that much pressure on you. Don't put that much pressure on yourself. But sometimes I forget. And sometimes I do put pressure on myself, and I do things that are out of character, and then I get mad at myself, like, why did you do that? Why did you send that text message? Why did you? Here's one, back from, I haven't done it in a while, but when I first got my Facebook, and people would say dumb stuff, or maybe they'd comment on something I was wearing, I would give them a what for. Now I'm older, and I generally don't do it. I just ignore it or delete the comment or just whatever. But back in the day, if somebody picked a fight with me online, I'd sit there and fight with them over it. I'd say things that I didn't mean. And, yes, there's the delete button. Yes, you can delete. But once it's said, people can screenshot it, they can share it. And once you hurt someone, it's really hard to unhurt them. I'll say that again. Once you hurt someone, it's very hard to unhurt them. Once you say a word in anger, it's very hard to take that word back. That's why it's a good rule of thumb if you pause. You read something, pause before you respond. You get ready to write something, pause before you send it. Or maybe, write it in your notes section, and then if you read it a couple times and you're okay, then send it. And that's another thing. If you're getting ready to write something that you got to pray for before you write, maybe you shouldn't be writing it. Or if you're getting ready to write something that literally gives you anxiety and makes your heart race, maybe you should kind of put that on the back burner until your heart's not racing when you send it. Because maybe there's a reason. Maybe God's trying to protect you from something that could hurt you or hurt others. But what happens? What happens when you hurt yourself or somebody you love? What happens when you promise yourself you're never going to use again, and then you use, and then you beat yourself up because, once an addict, always an addict? No, that's not true. You fell, get back up, try again. You fall again, get back up, try again. Don't stop trying just because you fall. Forgive yourself. Understand that you have some tendencies and you have some habits and hurts and hang-ups that are bigger than you are. But guess what? God's bigger than the both of you. And He will help you. And sometimes He'll bring people into your life that'll help you too. Because sometimes you need more help than just yours. Sometimes you need a counselor. Sometimes you need an addiction specialist. Sometimes you need a rehab specialist. Sometimes you need a pastor. Sometimes you need a mentor. Sometimes you need all of the above. Sometimes you need a doctor that can help you detox. There is no shame in getting help. I know the world likes us to believe that, we should be proud and do everything on our own, but God never said that. That's not in the Bible. You can look all throughout the Bible. You will never find God say, do it alone. Do it by yourself. No, He said the opposite. It's not good for man to be alone. When you pray, if there are two or more gathered, I am there in your midst. He's not telling you to pray by yourself. Yes, it's important to pray by yourself, but He's saying you need community. You need people that are going to help you through it. The story of the friends lowering their friend down to Jesus when their friend couldn't walk. That's a picture of what He wants for us. He wants us to carry each other when we can't walk, and to bring each other to Jesus when we need help and we can't do it on our own. So, forgive yourself. Understand that you may need more help than you currently have. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe you stopped drinking for a while and you fell. Maybe, COVID or the pandemic or whatever, it just messed with your head and you fell and you started drinking again. And you just haven't forgiven yourself because you were 27 years sober and now you ruined it all. No, that's a lie. You didn't ruin it all. You fell. Life happened. Get back up. You still have those 27 years of sobriety. Yes, you are starting over, but you haven't lost out on anything. What you had is not gone. Yes, you fell. We fall all day long. Do we just stop? Do we just lay down in the middle of the street and say, I fell, I'm done? No, that would be silly. Well, the same thing is silly when we make a mistake. Why do we have unrealistic expectations for ourselves? Why do we think that we can't fall and get back up? And that's not saying to fall on purpose, but that's saying that when we fall, we can get back up. We should get back up. We should tell others that they can get back up. They should get back up too. Maybe, you're a single woman. I have several friends that I've talked to, and, you're really trying not to have sex before marriage, and you're really trying to do things the right way, but you fell. You met somebody, you fell in love with them, you wanted to show them how much you loved them, so you were intimate with them, you had sex with them. You made love to them, whatever. And you're beating yourself up because you're not a virgin anymore, or you're beating yourself up because you were saving yourself for marriage, or maybe you weren't saving yourself for marriage, but you were just saving yourself, for somebody that really loved you, and the person that you were with didn't love you. Maybe you weren't a virgin, but you were trying to do things God's way, and you were trying to do things the right way, and you're just beating yourself up like, why did I do that? Why was I so stupid that I would let this man have my heart? Why was I so stupid that I would lower my standards, that I would lower my morals so that I could be with this person sexually? Right? And maybe you got pregnant from it. And maybe you're pregnant right now and you're thinking, what the heck did I do? I made a mistake. This guy doesn't want to be with me, and now I'm pregnant. And now I get to raise a child all by myself just because I chose to have sex instead of wait until marriage. And you're beating yourself up about it. Well, guess what? You got a miracle out of it. Praise God, you have a baby. And that baby's going to grow up and know that their mom loves them. And that's incredible. And that baby has a purpose and a calling on its life, and it's your job to point it to Jesus. And yeah, you made a mistake, but stop beating yourself over the head. God doesn't beat you over the head. Now you know better, you'll do better. Now you have a story to share with other young women that are waiting for marriage. Now you have a story to share with other people that are tempted, that are falling into lust, that are falling into the trap the enemy's setting for them. Now you get to tell them that what happens when you don't wait. Stop beating yourself up. Okay, you had sex. You can't undo it, so why are you going to beat yourself up? All you can do is move forward. Do you want to have sex again? If so, okay then, you've already made up your mind. But if you don't, then tell the person you're with, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Or maybe if you're not with that person anymore, make up in your mind that you're not going to do that moving forward, that you're not going to do that in the future, that the next relationship you're in, you're going to do it the right way. But don't beat yourself up for it. I know when I talk to teen girls all the time, they say, once they lose their virginity, they feel like they're trash and it doesn't matter anymore. They made a mistake and now they feel like it doesn't matter anymore. Or some guy manipulated them into doing something sexual with them, and now they feel dirty and filthy and unworthy. Now they feel like they don't matter, so it doesn't matter what they do with other guys. Or maybe they feel like that's their only value. Here's the deal. You made a mistake. Ask for forgiveness from God and forgive yourself. You made a mistake. You are not a mistake. Okay, you messed up sexually. Guess what? There's tomorrow. You can start new tomorrow. You can make those choices that you wanted to make yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and all the days to come. Forgive yourself. Maybe you were foolish with money. Maybe you made an investment property and it didn't turn out the way you want, or you wanted to flip a house and you bit off more than you can chew, or you thought that you could do something that you couldn't do, and now you're beating yourself up because you're in bankruptcy because you put all this money forward and you really didn't have the money, and now you're going through bankruptcy and you don't have a house and you don't have this and you don't have that, and you're beating yourself up because you financially did something you wish you didn't. Or maybe you sold something you wish you didn't. Maybe you sold your prized 1978 dream car Nova that you got when you were 15 that you and your dad rebuilt, and it was your baby. And every single time you see a Nova, you kick yourself and you regret and you're mad at yourself because you sold it. Forgive yourself and realize that your life matters more than a car. Yes, it was special to you and you have memories, but your life isn't over just because you sold your car. Maybe it's something else. Maybe you had an abortion when you were younger. Maybe you went through something and you didn't realize, what life was going to look like. Hope they're over. And so you had an abortion and now you're regretting that. And now you can't sleep and you can't eat and you're thinking about it all the time. Well, it's already done. You can't undo it. Was it bad? Yes, I'm sure. Did it hurt you? Yes, I'm sure. Did it hurt God's heart? Yes, it did. But it's already done. You can't undo it. But what you can do is move forward and use that testimony to share with others. Use that testimony to help others not do that same thing. Maybe you had a baby and you gave it up for adoption. And you kick yourself because you're constantly thinking, what would their life have been like if you would have kept them? What would your life... You can't think that. You have to look and say, you know what, God, I did what I did, and I'm trusting that you are bigger than my bad choices. And I'm going to forgive myself because, yeah, I made some bad choices and I wish that I didn't make them. But I'm going to forgive myself. And I'm going to ask you to forgive me too. Maybe it's you got a divorce and you promised yourself you would never get a divorce. Maybe you got 4 divorces. Maybe you got 5 divorces, and you're looking at your life and you're like, I cannot believe I've been divorced 5 times. And you're not forgiving yourself. Yesterday, you didn't have as much knowledge as you have today. So you made choices yesterday based on the amount of knowledge you had. Well, now you have more knowledge today, so now you can make better choices. We have to learn to forgive ourselves. If God forgives us, how much more should we forgive us? If we're so easy to forgive other people, why is it so hard for us to forgive ourselves? Do you know why? Because we know our own heart. We don't know other people's heart. So we believe the best in them, but we believe the worst in us. Learn to forgive yourself. Learn to forgive yourself. Learn to take what you learned from yesterday, to apply it to today, and to grow towards tomorrow. Okay, you made a mistake. Okay, you did something that you wish you didn't do. Maybe you cheated on a test. Maybe you lied to somebody and they found out about it. Ask for forgiveness from them. Change your behavior and forgive yourself. God forgives you. You are deserving of the grace that you so freely give to others. You are deserving of the grace that God so freely gives to you. Are you going to be perfect? No. Are you going to fall down? Probably a lot more than you'd like to. But God's going to keep reaching out his hand to pick you up. So keep picking his hand up. Keep letting him pick you up and forgive yourself. You cannot have a healthy life if you don't forgive yourself. You're with yourself 24/7. So you better start liking yourself and forgiving yourself, because you can't get away. You can try to numb it. You can try to forget it. You can try to distract yourself and to focus on other things, but it's always going to come back until you deal with it. Deal with it. Forgive yourself. Maybe go to counseling. I am a firm believer that counseling helps. Maybe talk to somebody. Maybe get a book from a Christian bookstore. If you're in, Southwest Florida area, Christ Centered is great. If you're in the Port Charlotte area, what is that? There's a Christian bookstore at one of the churches. What church is it? Oh, South Biscayne. I think they're still open. There was an awesome bookstore that they had where they had books. There's lots of bookstores. Go on, christianbookstore.com and look up a book about how to forgive yourself. A Christian one, though, with a Christian biblical viewpoint. You are forgiven. God forgives you. He's forgiven you for everything that you've ever done. Literally, he died on a cross to forgive you. So you need to forgive you too. I hope this encouraged you. I am encouraged to forgive myself for all the things that I've done that I wish that I didn't. And I'm encouraged to try again, to get up. When I fall down in the middle of the road, I'm not just going to lay there and be like, I fell down. Oh, my life is over. No, my life isn't over. My life is just beginning. And with all the knowledge that I've gained from falling down, maybe I can not fall down tomorrow. Or maybe I can. But I'm going to get back up. And I'm going to keep forgiving myself. And I'm going to keep encouraging others to forgive themselves too. I love you, but more importantly, God loves you. He forgives you, and he wants you to forgive you too. You are seen, you are celebrated, and you are loved. And I'll catch you in my next one.